Etsy has just rolled out a couple of new features, which I think are all actually really good additions. But don't take my word for it. Let's dive in and see what you guys think. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast and this special Friday edition of Etsy Seller News, where I talk about the latest Etsy news, things that are impacting sellers in the Etsy and e-commerce world. And today I have another really good episode for you guys, specific to Etsy and some new features that they've rolled out, which I think you guys are actually going to like. So I want to dive into each of those features and talk about any pros or cons that may come with them as well. But first, before we get started, I have a new guide for you. I always want to make sure I'm giving you guys extra resources and help to grow and improve your business. That's why I'm doing this. So this guide is aligned with that. It will show you 10 ways to accelerate your Etsy growth, and the guide is the Etsy Sales Accelerator Guide, of course. You guys can get that at handmadeandbeyond.com/accelerate, completely free. Download it, read it, and most importantly, take action afterwards. All right, so let's dive into today's episode where I talk about some of the newest features Etsy has rolled out. Maybe you've seen these, maybe you haven't. The first big feature, the biggest feature that they've rolled out is the new pricing optimizer tool. They've been testing this for a while with some sellers, and I think it's rolled out to everybody now. So you guys, maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't, but it will pop up and you'll be able to see it if you go into your listing tab. And there you'll see at the top your pricing optimizer tool. Once you click that, it'll pop up a whole list of your listings, and you'll see like a little bar. I'll pop it up on the screen here if you're watching. You'll see a little pricing bar where you can see the low price, medium price, and high price. And it'll kind of show your listing and where it lines up on that scale. The other cool thing is you can see where related listings kind of stack up when you hover over the pricing. So let's dive in and talk about some pros and cons when it comes to this pricing tool in terms of my opinion. Overall, I think it's a good thing. I think tools like this are helpful, but you have to always take this stuff with a grain of salt. It's never going to be the end all. So let's dive into some cons first. I like to hit with the pros last because I'm a glass half full type of guy. So the first con is it does not account for sales and promotions that you're already running. So you have to keep that in mind. You know, if you're running sales, this pricing guide is not going to account for that. So you just have to keep that in mind. You're not going to lower your price according to this guide and then also run your sales and take another 10, 15, 20% off of that. So you would want to start a little higher if you're trying to be aligned with this pricing guide. So just keep that in mind. It does not account for any current sales that you're running. It just is off your normal price. The second con is it may not be apples to apples. So it pulls related listings based off your keywords, your attributes, anything that's in your listing. It'll pull that stuff up, and then it'll offer related listings or comparable listings according to what you have in your listing. But it's not always apples to apples, right? We know that your competition or other sellers out there aren't selling the exact same things. There are differences in terms of quality, materials, how it's made, who it's made by. So just keep that in mind. It may be a similar listing, but it's not always apples to apples. So just because it's offering or telling you to do something or recommending that you do something doesn't mean that you have to do it. The next kind of thing related to that is don't feel like you have to listen to the tool, right? Just it's a tool. We don't have to. It's not the end all be all. You don't have to lower your price. You don't have to raise your price. Do what's best for your business. So just keep all these things in mind when you're looking at the data and then make the decision based on what makes sense for your business. Just kind of an example of this is one of my best-selling listings. I sold thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars off this listing. I have it listed for around $52. They are telling me that this price is too high, and they're suggesting, according to related listings, that I lower it to $32 to $35. I'm already selling a lot of this listing. It's my best-selling listing. I'm certainly not going to change this listing in hopes that I can sell even more, because I'm already selling a lot at a higher price point. So I don't have to sell as many by lowering my price to almost half of what I'm selling it for now. So it doesn't make sense. Now, if I wasn't selling as many, maybe I would lower it a little bit, but I still wouldn't lower it down the whole way to 32 to 35. So this is one of the examples. You have to keep all these factors in mind before you make your decision to change it. The next con is if your stuff is 100% original and there's no one selling your stuff, there's nothing to compare it to, chances are whatever suggestions it's giving you is not going to be accurate because there's no frame of reference. So you're not really going to be able to use this to your advantage. Now, granted, this is going to be really rare. Chances are you're selling something that there's a niche for, a market for already. Your stuff may be different as far as how it's made or the subject matter, but chances are someone's selling something relatively similar. But there are people out there that bring brand new stuff to market and do really well. The last con I'm going to leave you with is it seems like it's only bringing up a limited number of listings. I only have a page of listings, so I'm not sure if they're going to add to this, because I know for a fact that these are not the only, like I sell a lot of similar stuff, and it's not bringing up all of my listings for sure. It's bringing up maybe 1% of the listings. So I'm not sure if you as you go through it and you mark stuff or change stuff, it'll take away and bring up new stuff. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but just keep in mind this is definitely not going to bring up all of your listings if you have a lot of listings like I do. I have over 800 listings. It probably brought up maybe 50. So I'm not sure if they're going to add to this eventually. All right, let's dive into some pros. So the number one pro is it gives you data to help make more decisions on pricing if you're unsure where to start. So a lot of people are really kind of unsure where to kind of start with their pricing. Market research is a good place to start. This can give you a good starting point as well. But keep in mind, again, this doesn't take a lot of things into mind, such as your profit margin, kind of what you need to make. If you guys missed my last podcast episode on how to price your Etsy products, make sure you go back and watch that. I break down, some different pricing strategies, how to set your prices based on your profit margin and stuff like that. That will really kind of help you and give you a little bit more oomph than just kind of arbitrarily setting prices based on just the market research or what other people are selling stuff for. The next pro is it gives you as you hover over the price in the bar, it gives you the comparable listings that's kind of looking at to help give you the data that it's telling you where you should set your prices. So you can kind of look at these related listings and kind of see, okay, these are actually very similar to mine. Maybe this pricing guide is a little bit more accurate, or maybe I should listen to it a little bit more. The listings may not be accurate at all, the related listings, so then maybe you want to take it with a grain of salt, not listen to it as much. So just keep that in mind. The next and last pro is you can easily change your price right from the tool on the right hand side. It'll allow you to change your price and save it, which is kind of cool. It's fast and easy. You can also give feedback that the related listings aren't accurate. So if you're hovering over your price and the listings that's coming up are not anywhere close to what you're selling, your niche or anything like that, you can kind of say the related listings aren't accurate. You can kind of click that, and the feedback will go back to Etsy so they can further refine this tool. Because the tool still is in beta, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be errors. There's going to be mistakes, crashes, all that good stuff. That's what beta means. So they're going to continue to improve it, hopefully, and you got to give them that feedback when it comes about so they can make it better for you in the future. Lastly, you can also skip listings so they won't show up. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You can click the skip option, and I think once you do that, those listings won't show up again, and it may populate some newer listings. So that's what I'm thinking, why it doesn't show all your listings. As you change the price or skip listings, it'll populate new ones in there. I haven't tested it because I haven't wanted to change my prices, but if I do, I will come back and let you guys know how that is supposed to be working. But test it out, use it to your advantage. Again, data like this can be helpful if you let it, and use it to make decisions going forward. All right, the next change that Etsy has made, and I think this is a really positive change, is in the messaging tab, they've added a from Etsy filter, or category filter, whatever you want to say. So on the left hand side, if you go into your messages, it says from Etsy. You click on that, it'll populate all the messages that come from Etsy. The reason they've done this is because there's been a ton of spam, and I've covered this on previous episodes, a ton of spam where someone's like, hey, I'm from Etsy, please click on this link, which you should never do, or please do this, or please email us outside of Etsy. All these things are fraud, little tricksters, little fraudsters. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to click on random links. And this is a way that if you're unsure, is this actually from Etsy? Go to the From Etsy tab, click on it. And if the message is in there, it's 100% from Etsy. You can do whatever they're telling you to do in there, because it will only show up in there if it's from Etsy. So this is a great way, I think, to prevent some of the confusion and some of the fraud going on. So they are listening, because there's been a lot of that going on lately with Etsy. Honestly, it's been going on everywhere. There's a ton of it going on Facebook right now. It's always been going on email. So it's like running rampant. I'm not sure what's going on, but the fraudsters are working overtime for whatever reason. So just keep that in mind. I think it's a great addition. The last change that Etsy has made, which is another positive change. So this is a positive news episode for you guys. I've had some negative ones. This is definitely a positive one. They have updated and revamped their gift packing slips. So when you have someone buy something as a gift for somebody else, it changes the packing slip. And this is a good thing. They've changed the look of the packing slip. I think it looks a lot better. It's more recipient friendly because they are getting as a gift. So it has the gift message at the very top in bold, big letters. It'll say from this person. Here's the gift message. It'll have a little box where it has a picture of the gift as well, or from the listing rather. So this is pretty neat, where they can see it right away, the gift message, if they leave, I guess, if the purchaser left a gift message. Some people don't. Usually they do, so the person that gets it can see the message is big, it's easy to read. And then at the bottom they've added 2 QR codes. One is for your shop, and the other is just for Etsy in general. So they can use that QR code. They can scan it with their camera, pop back into your shop, or pop back into Etsy. Lastly, they've added at the bottom there, where it usually has always been, is a coupon code for them to come back to your shop and buy. If you have that set up, which I recommend that you do, you can set that up in the marketing tab where people are in your packing slip, where you can add a coupon code to the bottom of the packing slip for whatever percentage you want, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever you want to do, and they can use that coupon code, come back to your Etsy shop, buy, and they will get that amount off. So it's a great way to increase return buyers, especially for people like this that are getting these items as a gift. They love their gift. They're like, oh, I really like this. I want more of this. And they're going to come back to Etsy when they maybe didn't even know Etsy existed, or especially your shop that existed. So it's great for people that are buying from you. It's also great for people getting these gift receipts. Again, in your packing slip tab, you can customize it, and anyone that buys from you or anyone that gets this as a gift will show up on their packing slip as a coupon code. So make sure you guys do that to increase your return purchases. But that's it, guys. That's it for this episode. That is the new features that Etsy has rolled out. All good things. And again, make sure you get that 10 ways to accelerate your Etsy growth with my new sales accelerator guide at handmadeandbeyond.com/accelerate. Help give you tips and strategies to continue to improve your shop. Other than that, have an amazing rest of your Friday and have a good weekend. I'll be back soon with some more good stuff for you.